My brothers and sisters, may the Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus withdrew toward the sea with his disciples. A large number of people followed from Galilee and from Judea. Hearing what he was doing, a large number of people came to him also from Jerusalem, from Idumea, from beyond the Jordan, and from the neighborhood of Tyre and Sidon. He told his disciples to have a boat ready for him because of the crowd, so that they would not crush him. He had cured many, and as a result, those who had diseases were pressing upon him to touch them. And whenever unclean spirits saw him, they would fall down before him and shout, "You are the Son of God." He warned them sternly not to make him known. The Gospel of the Lord. Oftentimes when there is a illustration of the evangelist Mark, they show him with his finger up to his mouth saying, "Shh, be quiet, be quiet." And of course that seems to be kind of an underlying theme in the course of the Gospel of Mark, that over and over again, Jesus or others say, don't tell them about it, just go off and do what you're supposed to do. We heard it the other day when the leper was cured and Jesus says, go off to the priest to show yourself, but not tell anyone else about it. And he proceeds to tell everyone about the fact of the cure. And as a result of it, Jesus can't even go into towns in the area anymore because so many people are coming to him. In the course of Mark's account, of course, what he's suggesting to us is that we have to really understand who this Jesus is. And many times, people began to follow him for the wrong reasons. And even in the course of the entire gospel story, we see that the disciples sometimes carried that same belief. They were looking for a Messiah who would be a political leader, who would lead them out of their domination under the Romans. They did not see necessarily the Messiah as God saw the Messiah to be, the one who saves us from something far more important than our political life, saves us in our spiritual life and brings back salvation. And so even by the time of the Gospel of John, where we have that very lengthy monologue that Jesus offers with regard to being the bread of life, you must eat of his flesh and drink of his blood in order to have life. We know that many people could not accept it. They couldn't take the step further beyond the understanding of him teaching and physically curing to that which is the reality of who he was. And so we're told that Jesus tells them, in fact, the only reason you're here is because I fed you with a multiplication of breads and you're looking for physical bread, and that's not what I'm about. That's not ultimately what salvation is about. Sometimes we can tend to do the same thing in our aspect of understanding God. We try to kind of categorize him and put him into a box as the way we think he should act and react. We find it sometimes difficult to accept the unusual ways that he shows himself to us in the course of our personal journeys of faith. And so this morning we are asked, much the same as all those people were at the time of his teaching and preaching, to really believe and to have a faith that's strong enough to go beyond our own idiosyncrasies and our own kind of perspectives on things to, in fact, what the reality is, that he is, as ironically the unclean spirits told us, the Son of God.